Hey everyone, G4 Video 5 here, and welcome back to some more Grand Theft Auto 3. In this part, we will be completing Salvatore Leone's missions.
Leave us alone for a minute. The Colombian cartel is making spank somewhere in Liberty, but we don't know where. And they seem to know everything we're doing before we do. We got us a rat. There's a guy named Curly Bob, works the bar at Luigi's. He's been throwing more money around than he's earning. He ain't pimping or pushing, so he must be talking. He usually gets a taxi home after work, so follow him. And if he's ratting us out, kill him.
Ooh, so we have Spank rearing its ugly head once again in one of these missions cutscenes, this time here with Salvatore mentioning that the gang, the Colombian Cartel, have strong connections to the distribution of Spank in Liberty City. It's just that at the moment we don't really know where that is taking place. So, oh man, this is all very important information for the plot, as the Colombian Cartel are a very prominent gang in this game. And this is the first time that they've been name-dropped. We have seen them before in the opening cutscene of this game, as they were the gang that attacked the police convoy that Claude and 8-Ball were a part of, as they kidnapped one of the people on the police convoy, but then just kind of walked off without really bothering doing much to Claude or 8-Ball or any of the police officers also involved in the police convoy. So they indirectly allowed Claude and 8-Ball to escape the police convoy and then go about, doing the events of this game. So, in the end, they're going to be their own worst enemy, as you would imagine. But anyways, that's all stuff for down the road. But for right now, we just know that this Curly Bob character that we're picking up has some information for Salvatore and the Mafia, so we can kind of get to the bottom of this situation here, and that apparently some information's been getting leaked about Mafia business to the Mafia's rivals, and this Curly Bob character is actually the source of this leakage in a non-sexual way. And you don't have to follow the taxi that's parked outside of Luigi's club that Curly Bob would normally get into. You can actually get a taxi yourself and pick him up and take him on over to his destination.
Here comes our little friend, Mr. Big Mouth himself.
Were you followed? You know what goes on here is our little secret, amigo.
No, I wasn't followed. You got my stuff?
Here's your spank, squealer. Now talk.
Okay, so the Leones are fighting wars on two fronts. They're in a turf war with the Triads, with no sign of either side giving up. Meanwhile, Joey Leone has stirred up some bad blood with the Forellis. Every day they're losing men and influence in the city. Salvatore's becoming dangerous and paranoid. He expects everybody and everything.
And with loyalty like yours, what has he possibly got to worry about?
So now that we've seen this rat bastard leak out in the open like that, we're gonna whack him off by running him over, and I like how he pulls out a shotgun there, which I guess is a bit of foreshadowing since this guy is technically Mafia aligned. But, that woman he was talking to named Catalina, in that cutscene, is actually the same woman who betrayed us in the opening cutscene of this game, where she shot us with her akimbo pistols, and left us for dead, so she's gonna have a prominent role in this game. But in the meantime, until that point in which she returns, we're going to move on to the next mission, which actually takes place here, just without Curly Bob's sickness taking up the screen.
The cartel has got bottomless funds from pushing that spank crap. If we make an open attack on them, they'll wipe the floor with us. They must be making spank on that big boat that Curly led you to. So we gotta use our heads. Or rather, one head. Your head. I'm asking you to destroy that spank factory as a personal favor to me, Salvatore Leone. If you do this for me, you will be a made man. Anything you want. Go and see 8-Ball. You'll need his expertise to blow up that boat.
So it seems that there's something sinister brewing here, and it's not just because of the cheddar cheese I ate earlier today, but more so because Salvatore mentioned to Claude that he can make him a made man if he does this job for him. And that doesn't make a whole lot of sense, because in the Mafia, one of the important things to becoming a made man is that you have to be Italian. And as we know in the mission for Joey Leone called Cipriani's Chauffeur, Claude ain't Italian. So it seems like Salvatore's lying to Claude in order to get him to do this extremely important and extremely dangerous task for him.
Yo, my man! Salvatore phoned ahead, but a job like this is gonna need a lot of fireworks. I'll need $100,000 to cover expenses. But you know, with me, you get a lot of bang for your buck. Come back, brother, when you have the money. Okay, let's do this then. I can set this baby to detonate, but I still can't use a piece with these hands. Here, this rifle should help you pop some heads.
So a recommendation before attempting this mission is to save your game, and the reason is because for every attempt of doing this mission, you have to pay that $100,000 fee. So if we were to fail this mission right now, and go back to 8-Ball's place to reattempt the mission, then we would have to pay another $100,000. So by saving your game before attempting the mission, and then just reloading your save if you fail, then that trivializes this $100,000 you would have to keep paying if you're somebody who ends up failing this mission a handful of times, which is completely understandable because, as you'll see, the controls are not the best for the sniper rifle that we're given.
Get a good vantage point, then I'll head in when you fire the first shot.
Oh man, I've always liked this series of shots that the game shows off of this ship, and you get to see all of these Colombian cartel gang members wandering around the place. Some are just standing stationary, observing the surroundings of the ship, and it's a very intimidating sight to see. Now, thankfully, they're not observing all that well, because you have these two shady characters, Claude and 8-Ball, just wandering around the place, relatively close by, but they're not really taking any action to it. And I'm not complaining, but, you know, it's just an observation, I suppose. But we're going to get onto that staircase, and there's 8-Ball taking a poop behind that box. And at the top of the staircase, we're going to use this sniper rifle to pop some heads and take care of these Colombian cartel gang members. Now, we want to act quickly, because 8-Ball, once we fire off our first shot, is going to slowly but surely make his way throughout the ship, regardless of whether or not there's Colombian cartel gang members in his way. So you want to eliminate these Colombian cartel gang members, or else 8-Ball's going to walk right into them and get shot by their AK-47s. And if too many of these guys are shooting at 8-Ball with their AKs, then that can prove to be very problematic, as that's a very powerful weapon, and, you know, a lot of bullets can cause a lot of damage. So you gotta be quick. And something that helps in controlling this sniper rifle is to use the analog stick. Oh, what a monumental sight to see that was, although all of those explosions remind me of Enchilada Night. Now, I suggested using the analog stick with the sniper rifle because it allows you to use a bit more finesse than if you were to use the directional buttons, as you can just gently push the analog stick into the direction you want to aim to better and more accurately aim at whatever your target is. Now, the aftermath of destroying this cargo ship is that no more pedestrians will spawn in Portland Harbor, which is unfortunate. I used to like hanging around Portland Harbor and seeing what mischief I could get into with these crazed pedestrians hanging around the place.
It's my favorite cleaner. I'm proud of you, my boy. You kicked the shit out of those grease balls. I just got one little job for you before we can all celebrate. There's a car around the block from Luigi's club. The inside is covered in brains. We had to help some guy make up his mind, and it proved a little, messy. Take it to the crusher before the cops find it.
So this objective that Salvatore is giving us has always seemed a bit overly straightforward and simplistic, and it's always made me suspicious. And not just because I've played this game before, but even as a kid when I played through this game, you know, something seemed off about this mission. And I think it's because, right off the bat, it's something that we've already done before, because for Joey Leone he has the mission Dead Skunk in the Trunk, where you go to a secluded spot to pick up a vehicle that has a dead body in it, and you have to take that vehicle to the car crusher. However, in the case of this mission, we get a little message from Maria that says, "This is Maria. The car's a trap. Meet me at the slip south of Callahan Bridge." So, when we arrive, we'll find out what all this funny business is about here.
Listen, Salvatore thinks that we're going behind his back, so he was offering you to the cartel in order to make a deal. I couldn't let him do that. I mean, the worst thing is, it's all my fault because I told him we were an item. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Look, you're a marked man on the Mafia turf, and I've got to get out of here, too. I've seen too much killing, too much blood. Look, this is a friend of mine, okay? She's an old friend, and it's so good. She's someone we could trust.
Come on, enough of the speeches. We better get out of here before we get more hysterical Italians wanting less friendly reunions.
Well, good for Claude, I guess, for getting some, but, you know, he's sticking his willy into crazy, which is just asking for trouble, as you can see with this mission, so, I don't know, I mean, he's gonna do whatever he wants to do behind closed doors and in between cutscenes for missions, so it's whatever. I mean, it's a way of advancing the story in a pretty interesting way, I guess, and that now Salvatore and the Mafia hate us and don't want anything to do with us, because we were fooling around with the boss's woman, which is quite ballsy in more ways than one, I'll say that much.
Asuka and I are gonna have to talk. Why don't you go cruise around?
You'll need a place to lie low. There's a warehouse at the edge of Belleville that should suit your needs. Come back here to my condo when you're ready, and you and me can have a little chat.
So that concludes the final Salvatore Leone mission, and we will see how this Mafia business concludes itself in the next part, as in the next part, we will be doing missions for this Azuka character that we've just met, and she will prove to be a very important ally to Claude from this point moving on until the end of the game, so it's all very interesting stuff going on there, and that is what we will be doing in the next part, so until then, I will see you next time.
Outside Kuala.
News just in from the traffic desk. Repairs to the Callahan Bridge have been completed. Since the explosion, engineers have been working around the clock to get traffic flowing between Portland and Staunton Island once again.